What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all very much, as always. Hope that your week's going well. As we enter this Wednesday, I got the chart for you today, so let's take a look at the astrology today. Well, it is the first full day. Not dealing with Aries energy, like we're in Taurus now, Sun in Taurus at that 0 degree for the majority of the day. And it will come to 1 degree by the evening, but mainly it's at 0 and it is separating still from Pluto. So we are still in this like deep evaluation of value. Like a lot's coming up. We're seeing where people value us, where society values us, where we value ourselves. There's a good look at our self-worth. And the relationships there and forward. Like I think that relationships are important. Coming off a Libra full moon, like definitely a lot. And you know, Pluto, Scorpio definitely deals with other people and that merging energy. So not only are we getting a deep look at ourselves and what we do want out of life and where we feel good or secure, but you know, where we don't feel secure and like where we have to deal with insecurities so that we can like get more value out of life, like heal from it and like really feel into the good stuff and all the great potential that we have to create in life right now. I talk about, of course, these two all the time, but Venus is getting even closer. So, you know, between Venus and Jupiter is this Neptune. It's so interesting, like the modern ruler in the middle of the exalted planet and the traditional ruler. We're definitely out there. It's very dreamy, very sensitive. We're trying to make dreams reality right now. And it is still that time with all these planets direct to focus on how exactly to go about doing that and to not like waste time. Even Pluto finishing up in Capricorn, it's like, okay, time's kind of getting demolished, but there is still this time from that old system that we do still have. And I think that we want to, you know, not waste it. Because once it goes, like, we're going to kind of wonder, like, what we could have done. So, you know, we're in those times. Transform your life right now based on your value and the dreams you want to come true. Also, Venus in Pisces is like, okay, like I really want, you know, some like fairy tale relationship stuff here. And getting close to Neptune, like we want to slip into like a very beautiful place when it comes to love. Or you can be escaping in some way to like find it or not paying attention to the things. So there's definitely like a reality check in life right now. We're going to see that moon in Sagittarius. It's finishing up, but it's going to be squaring Jupiter and Neptune. So yeah, we're definitely trying to expand our world and see what's out there, and kind of go out into the far reaches of the universe to grab what we can to like bring to physical reality. But there is this sensitive spot of like trying to escape, going too far, taking on too much. Like, let's kind of like aim our arrow in a direction here in life and kind of pursue that direction. Instead of like focusing on all the things, what really is that magic and that dream that you want to bring into your reality? It's a powerful day to focus on that. Moon's also going to sextile Saturn. So I mean, honestly, I like it a lot. Like, this is where you can really dedicate yourself to something you want to create. It's a very creative time. So I think definitely one of those days where like music, art, philosophy, like expanding your mind in some way and bringing that creativity into physical form is really powerful today. But we can also take on too much. Or we could be feeling so much from outside. It's almost like, okay, like got to have a boundary check too. Like like everything will be too much. And it can almost feel like we can need so much. But it's almost like slow down today. I know it's Mercury day and we're all jumping around trying to get through the week, but like slow down and like really feel into like what feels good in your life. And there is something about obsessing over that, but also like cutting, oh my gosh. I just realized that this is not where I wanted it to be. So funny. I always do this. There we go. People watching are like, what's going on? Like, he just put his face over the chart. How narcissistic. Look at me. Just kidding. But anyways, at least everything was over on this side of the chart so you could see it anyways. But there's a lot to dedicate to. There's so much. I think if you can like consolidate things to what feels the best to you and what has a sense of value and where like the bounty of life is, blossoming and can be completely nourished, you're going to see how far that can go. Instead of expanding everything in the world, like, because, right, if it's everything, then there's probably stuff you don't really want to expand anymore. So, I don't know, something to consider. Mercury's getting closer to the North Node. We might start feeling that today. It's going to get over there by Friday, and Venus is going to start working on that sextile to the North Node too, and also the trine to the South Node. So, again, there's definitely things in our environment that are getting understood, and even having Mercury out in front of the sun is kind of this like, it's like we're already seeing how this Taurus season can go for us, or how it's going to go. It's like we're getting the blueprint, right? David and I were talking about this last night. Like Mercury out in front of the sun's like this messenger that's like giving us the deets ahead of time. And that's what's nice about having Mercury in front of the sun. So we're in kind of that place now as the sun's getting ready to come to the North Node, as we're getting ready for eclipses, which we're only 10 days away from a solar eclipse in Taurus. And then also that the moon is going to finish up the day in Capricorn like late in the evening, like right around midnight, but it is going to make that trine to the sun as well to finish off the day in Capricorn. So a lot of this is about a little bit of the consolidation to the magic and the dream that you really do value, taking the epiphanies and actually creating the thing. So it's really trying to make things real that you want to be real, or what you want to be persistent in or focused on or dedicated to. I think that those things are all very important, and the people in your environment that kind of match what you're trying to build. There's a lot of really feel-good energy, and even Sun Eros, which is building up, and that'll be with the solar eclipse. Like, it's kind of sexy. There's a sexy vibe out there, but it's not sexy when you're kind of living in a controlled environment or with controlled people or anything that's like forcing your hand or making you feel uncomfortable, because this is where you kind of got to break those ties to find your comfort. And that sometimes brings uncomfortable situations, but we learn and grow a lot through those uncomfortable situations. And today's going to kind of amplify a lot with the moon square Jupiter, but we're learning through these things. We're learning through whatever we're, maybe struggling with, or whatever's making us feel kind of anxious in life. We can definitely grow past all that, but, Mars in Pisces is, really kind of just doing its thing. It's not really aspecting anything. It's kind of just floating through the universe here. Juno just came into Pisces. There's a lot of Pisces in the chart. I think Mars in Pisces, again, is trying to figure out what it wants to create, and it has all this infinite sort of things to grab onto and identify with, but it's like really your soul can guide you very strongly, your intuition. Like, let your emotion dictate what feels good and not your mind. Even with the Mercury in Taurus, like, the things that feel good are going to like hit receptors in our brain that like are going to give us the truth of the matter, that are going to make sense. So instead of like necessarily putting the mind first or overthinking things, it's like really feel like physically and emotionally what it is you want, and then dedicate to those things and then pursue them and stick to them. It's not a time to quit, that's for sure. And it's not a time to not do anything, because we can kind of slow down in Taurus season here and smell the roses a little bit, but you also want to get the goods in Taurus and like hold on to the best stuff. So if you're not having the best right now, it's a great time to create a new best and to really stick to that plan, make the changes necessary, and I think realize how much potential there really is right now, because that's the beautiful part about the astrology right now, is there's so many different potential outcomes, but we don't necessarily know. And that's part of the surrender of Pisces, and like flowing with like, oh, I feel like this is going to feel good in my life. I feel like I should do this. I feel like I should start this. Maybe not knowing the outcome, maybe not having it figured out. Why do you think Mercury's at fall in Pisces? It can't figure shit out. So it's not about necessarily having it figured out, but just giving it up to, if you try it, it'll stick, or it won't stick, but it'll show you where it will stick. You see what I'm saying? Anyways, it's definitely, the intensity is lowering right now, and I think that today's going to feel good. Today can feel like there's actually too much good stuff. And it's almost like, okay, well, narrow things down a little bit. And I think by the end of the day and into Thursday, tomorrow, it's like things are actually kind of consolidated for what we really want. So if you're having to make choices right now, it can seem like a lot, but really it's very Seven of Cups energy. Like there's actually really something you really want. And the rest of the stuff's just there. Well, I hope we pulled the Seven of Cups. We didn't, though. We pulled the Hangman upright. So, I don't know. I feel like we could be a little hung up maybe with so many options in life, or feeling like a little stuck. It's like, yes, but it's also giving us a different kind of perspective and outlook on things. So it's giving us some different way to figure it out. And maybe it's like we've been in our head so much. Maybe it's like shifting the perspective to the emotion and not getting hung up on things, but like kind of like working through them and trying to keep an optimistic like outlook. I think there is that. It's just almost like, if you're not seeing optimism, why don't you tilt your head and look over there? Maybe you're just looking in the wrong spot in life or focusing on that too much. Also got the Four of Pentacles in reverse. This is kind of like, okay, time to let go of something. Maybe we're holding on to something that's blocking us from what we really want. So it's like learning to be like, okay, this isn't the value anymore. Maybe it once was, but it's not anymore. Being willing to let go, but we can be really stubborn right now. And maybe we're hung up on what we're stubborn on. And it's like, there's other things out there. You're tripping on something that might not be worth anything anymore, and there's all this value over here, but it's in this odd route, and Uranus is in Taurus, and it's like, okay, there's like so many different values now. It's like value jambalaya. So just finding the things that are your dream, commit to those. I don't know. What are we holding on to so tightly anyways? Ace of Wands in reverse. I guess we don't want to start these fresh new sort of adventures in life. We should. There's definitely value and excitement and creativity there. I don't know why. I feel like we should take the baton, right? It's like, was reversed? Like, take the baton from God. Like, God's passing it to us. Like, hey, run with this. But we're like, oh, but there's all this other stuff I like, and this relationship, and it's like, but is it your value? Does it make you happy? Or are you just hung up? So I think we're kind of feeling a little hung up from the cards about like all these different options or what value is to us. And it's like, your soul knows. You probably know, but we're tripping ourselves out. I'm going to pull one more for fun. Ace of Cups upright. That's the fun, is the emotional new beginnings and trusting your emotion, that if you do start aspects in life and focus on narrowing it down to what you do want, that you could be overflowing with the good feelings in life. You don't know unless you try. So it's almost like with the moon square Jupiter and Neptune, like we can be in a delusion over stories that we tell ourselves. And I think we kind of want to get out of that. We don't want to limit ourselves right now. So make sure your stories are infinite and open to the gifts that can come in. There's definitely energy that wants to sweep you off your feet. Love you all very much. Hope you have a beautiful Wednesday, and I'll catch you all for Thursday's horoscope tomorrow. Much love. Peace.